The ultra-low emission zone and clean air zones have been introduced in London and other cities to tackle air pollution. One of the main pollutants is PM 2.5, particulate matter far smaller than a grain of sand that can enter our bloodstream when we breathe them in. The World Health Organization has a target to reduce the annual level of this pollution to 5 micrograms per cubic metre of air. In 2022, London had an average concentration of 9.6. The government's current target is 10.
In London, when you look at the emissions within London, there are 2 major contributors. One is the motor vehicle, and the second is combustion of wood.
Independent air quality scientist Michael Bull explained to me how these levels differ drastically throughout the day. We looked on a website called London Air to see the levels of PM 2.5 in South London's Bromley over a week.
So currently, PM 2.5 is at about 6, actually. That's an hourly average. Okay. And if you just look at the way that graph's moving, so you could look on this day and things would look very bad. So just by going and looking on one particular instance in time, you have no idea whether you're complying because this week you could have gone and measured 6 or you could have gone and measured 20.
So because the levels fluctuate so much, you have to take the annual level for PM 2.5 in Bromley, which is 10.
The ULEZ in Bromley is not just aimed at achieving it in Bromley, it's aimed at improving it across London, because as the air comes in from Bromley, it'll pick up more. It's this point, as the air moves across London, it picks up the pollution. And so improving it in Bromley, Bromley might comply, but it will help the centre of London comply by doing it in Bromley as well.
So what impact is the air quality having on people physically?
So in the long term, the effects are things like an increased risk of cancer, particularly lung cancer. It's estimated that 1 in 10 lung cancers in London are caused by air pollution. They're the effects on the lungs, so chronic lung diseases like COPD and asthma, but also things that people might not be aware of. So there's an increased risk of things like dementia, strokes, heart attacks. And then what we see when there are very high levels that are kind of outside of the normal levels of toxic air is that there's an increase in the number of people admitted to hospital with heart attacks, with breathing attacks, and with strokes. And that's been replicated again and again in different cities across the world.
The Mayor of London offers a scrappage scheme to people with vehicles that don't meet the emission standards. For Kevin, who owns a garage in South London, he says the amount offered isn't enough.
You're not going to buy a new car for £2,000. You're not going to buy a used car for £2,000 that's compatible. The prices have rocketed just because of the deadline. Me personally, I looked yesterday for a compatible vehicle, and the price from last year to this year, it's gone up like £5,000.
ULEZ is impacting many financially at a difficult time, with people only being given 9 months' notice of the expansion. But by lowering air pollution levels, the science says lives will be saved. So the question is, can we afford not to? Lisa Hartle, GB News, London.